Oh. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om and greetings from Niagara Falls. When we don't know someone, when we don't know something, we are embarrassed, we are in denial of that not knowing. So we start to think that we do know that someone, that something. And really, we start to make things up about that person, about that place. An example, if you travel to a country and someone asks you about the politics in that country, or asks you about the economy of that country, if you're just traveling lightly, you probably don't know a lot, if anything, about the politics or economy, but you want to sound like you do. So you start to make things up, right? It's like people who have a layover at an airport and say, yeah, I've been to Switzerland also. You've been to the bathroom in Switzerland. That doesn't mean you've been to Switzerland. Now, we do that with people, we do that with things, we do that with ourselves because we don't know who we are. And even if you subtract the whole Sri Ramana, who am I inquiry, we fundamentally feel that we don't know who we are in the sense of insecurity, no? Why is it that we keep needing to look in the mirror and hear our names if we know who we are? So even functionally, we don't know who we are, so we start to think and make up things. And you ask any kid about lying, what is the problem with lying? And they'll say, Narayana, that you forget what you lied about and you just have to keep on doing that. Our yatras are an experience to know more about the Jagat, to know more about the Jiva. And the beauty of this knowing is I'm ready to accept that I don't know. I am honest that I don't know the purpose of life, but that's why I'm on this journey. I appreciate that I'm dependently joyous, and me knowing that, I can grow out of that. Some of you were on a yatra almost 10 years ago. And here we are, continuing with our satsang. Pujaswami Tejomayananda in Manah Shodanam, in the last two verses that we studied, 13 and 14. In Shloka 13, those who act for fulfillment, those are people who are Daya Patram. This is shared in the commentary. Patra means they're a vessel that takes in. In other words, they need daya. They need compassion because they're unhappy. Whereas those who act out of fulfillment, they're the ones who provide that daya. Shared differently, those who live a lifestyle of getting, they need daya, isn't it? They want to get, someone has to give to them, isn't it? But those who live a lifestyle of giving, then those are the people who give. They don't need daya. The best defense is a strong offense. The ball, the puck doesn't come into their court. They're independent. Everything is about other people then. This is all shared in Shloka 13. In 14, Guruji emphasizes inquiry. And referencing Ramayana, Bhakti is the queen and Maya, Bhakti is the Rani, Maya is the Dasi. And I'm only picking up on female because these words are feminine. I'm talking about language, nothing more than that. That Bhakti is the Rani. A Bhakta is always wanting to know more about Bhagavan, correct? Wanting to know more about God. Whereas what is Maya doing? Always making us forget Bhagavan, taking us away from that. Inquiry is when we make that shift from looking at Maya to from looking at the Dasi to looking at the Rani. If you're deeply in love with someone, then you keep looking at them. You're not distracted by another person's physique or another person's words. It's when you're not in love with someone that distraction can take place. There's an attraction to someone in a different way. And we experience that with infants. We love just looking at infants, right? We're not concerned about if there's another beautiful or handsome person that's come there. That infant is someone we're deeply in love with. And one more point in Shloka 14. When understood, when Maya is understood, when Jagat is understood, then this becomes unreal. But as long as this is not understood, there is a default to treat all of this as real. So when not clearly understood, default is this is real. But when clearly understood, this becomes unreal. In my mind, I think of the example of innocent until proven guilty, correct? The default is that someone is innocent. But if someone is clearly proven to be guilty, that default is changing then. And this line of thought continues in Shloka 15. Everyone's in sync? What text are we studying? We'll see who's in sync. Isn't this happy hour? Satya buddhir yada drishye. Satya buddhir yada drishye. Swatmano binnata tata. Swatmano binnata tata. Sukha buddhistada tasmin. Sukha buddhistada tasmin. Dukkha buddhir hi va bhavet. Dukkha buddhir hi va bhavet. Swamiji shares here. Yada, when, drishye, sees, perceives. When I experience with satya buddhi. When I live as if everything is real. Okay, first quarter. I live as if everything is real. So pausing and thinking about this. How are you determining what is real? When was the last time that you paused and thought about how you're determining what is real? We're doing it right now, but continue. Then what happens? This one quarter, or what I'm sharing in English, can consume us in a most productive and peaceful way. How am I determining what is real? And if I'm not pausing to assess that criteria, what am I doing? And I'll share a really powerful narration from Ashtavakra Gita. Some of you may already know about this. Raja Janaka, that is Mother Sita's father, he has a dream, and I said Raja, for those who don't know. He is one of the greatest kings. Whenever people think of, and those who are enlightened, who are still living amongst us, his name is always foremost, correct? So Raja Janaka has a dream that he's a beggar. And he's so poor that he has no food in his dream, so much so that he dies. And when he dies in that dream due to starvation, he wakes up. He wakes up into the body, into the mind of Raja Janaka. And he goes to his guide, which is Rishi Ashtavakra, and narrates this dream to him. And says, I don't know if I'm a beggar. I don't know if I'm a king. And what does Rishi Ashtavakra say? You're neither. You're neither that beggar nor the king. These are just boxes that are on you, when in actuality you are that substance, you are that core. How are you determining what is real? And I shared in Upadeshara, the mind is capable of creating an entire multiverse. How are we determining whether that's happening now or not? Swat manaha binnatha tata. When I have this feeling that all is real, then I start to feel that all is separate from me. When I start to feel all is real, I start to feel all is separate from me, because when I identify with my hands. I don't identify with your hands. I identify with my thoughts. I don't identify with your thoughts. So all is real, and because I don't identify with your hands, your thoughts, then you have to be separate from me. You are different from me. You can never solve a problem. You can never, ever solve a problem that's happening in this world, because the framework is not conducive to solving. The framework that we use is dealing with a problem that cannot be solved. And let me share this differently. The nature of this multiverse is to constantly change. We're trying to find balance with that which is constantly changing. Is that possible? It's not possible. So we're trying to fix. We're treating all of this as a problem. We're trying to solve this problem when the stipulations, the foundation itself is all wrong. That what I'm experiencing is real, that you're separate from me. See, if I take those variables to be fixed or locked into place, everything else that comes with it can't work, can't be solved. So coming back to what Rishi Ashtavakra tells Raja Janaka, he's saying you can't solve or figure out if you're a beggar or you're a king. He's saying all of this can only be dissolved. when you dissolve the box, then the substance, the core is there. When I stop trying to fix that which is changing, when I stop trying to find balance, that is when I start to dissolve the problem. I start to transcend the thoughts. I'll elaborate some more in the next quarter. Sukha buddhihi tada tasmin. Okay. So here are the thoughts. This is the thought flow that Guruji is sharing. Number one, satya buddhi. I have this feeling that all is real. I'm real, you're real. Yes? Sounds like us. Then because of that, I feel I don't identify with you, so I and you are different. I'm separate, you're separate. Now because of that comes sukha buddhi. Since I feel separate from your hand, from your thoughts, that separation makes me feel incomplete. And I'm already with me, as if I'm already with me, so the only thing to do is get with you. And you means other articles, other beings, other circumstances. I've never inquired, so I don't think that there's more to me than just my hair and just my thoughts. Then I feel incomplete, so what to do? You're not me. That fridge is not me. That vacation is not me. I should get connected with that. Then that becomes the story of my life. I'll give you a framework to remember all of this by. Separation is what's being shared in this verse. Separation. If separation, then smallness. If there's a feeling of separation, then there will be a feeling of smallness. If there's a feeling of smallness, then there will be a feeling of sadness. After smallness comes sadness. If you make someone else feel very small, if someone makes you feel small at work, at school, don't you feel sad? Smallness, sadness. And they're only making you feel small because they feel they're separate from you, correct? Or us, we would do that to someone else. If there's sadness, then stress. Then stress. Because sadness is so deep, and the way it's expressed is stress. Almost like fear is deep. How does fear get expressed? As anger. Anger is deep. How does that get expressed? Frustration, impatience. Stress, if stress, then stuck. Then you feel like you're stuck. So now I'll give you some Vedantic terminology to all of this, which you already know. What is the Vedantic word for separation? Avidya. What is the Vedantic word for smallness? Vasana. Vasana is your blueprints, correct? If I'm infinity and now all of a sudden there's blueprints, I feel I'm small. What is sadness? Aishana, or desire. When I'm sad, I have more desires. When I'm happy, I have less desires, isn't it? I was speaking to one of our Devis in another center, and she was telling me that her husband is super depressed. And because he's super depressed, he keeps resorting to food. And she's deeply concerned about this because it affects her. It affects their family, obviously, right? If I'm unwell, it affects everyone who's living in this home then. It affects our class also. So sadness is aishana. The stress, vrittis. Vrittis, which are also translated as thoughts. The more thoughts you have, the more stress you feel, right? The less thoughts you have, the less stress you feel. Those who have very little stress in their lives, how long does it take them to fall asleep? They sleep in class. Those who have a lot of stress in life, They don't sleep. And that leads to that last, that stuck is karma. Is karma. You know, there's so many frameworks in Vedanta that takes you from avidya to karma. So this is a way for us to remember the 5 S's that we always feel. Sukha buddhihi tada tasmin. And then Guruji finishes this shloka by saying, dukkha buddhihi va bhavet. I start to feel that articles, beings, and circumstances can bring me joy or they can bring me sorrow. And when I was reading this shloka, we never think about that last quarter, isn't it? We never think something's going to bring us sorrow. We only think things are going to bring us joy, correct? And there's so many narrations in our scriptures, like taking a Bhagavatam. You know that rishi who blessed that mango that was given to Atma Deva? He told him, he said, you are happy. Your nature is happiness. Why do you want to have a child? And Atma Deva said that, how can I be happy without a child? And that rishi was trying to teach him that that's another dependence. But Atma Deva never paid attention to that, and slowly, because of Dundukari, he had to leave. He had to leave into the jungle. And there's a really hilarious story if you read the commentary, which you should. I'll try to say this in brief. There's a king riding on a horse. First of all, did any of you read this? Okay. There's a king riding on a horse, and he sees a one-eyed man. So he falls off of his horse and sprains his ankle. And he's really angry, so he orders the bodyguards, the military, to capture this one-eyed man and bring him back to the kingdom because he wants to execute him. So now they're about to execute this one-eyed man. And they ask that one-eyed man, okay, what is your last request? And he says that I would like to see the king. So there's the king, there's a cloth, and there's that one-eyed man. And that king asks that one-eyed man, why did you want to see me as your last request before you're executed? And that one-eyed man says, you think that I'm inauspicious, which is why you fell off your horse and sprained your ankle. I'm about to be killed, so really who's inauspicious here? You see me, you sprain your ankle, I see you, I'm going to die. So this sukha buddhi, if there's a sukha buddhi, there will also be a dukkha buddhi. And I project that I'm going to get joy, but really what I actually get is sadness. And shared in one more framework. This will lead into the next shloka. Sadness and happiness, those are really deep feelings. The expression of this sadness and happiness is dvesha and raga. Dvesha is dislikes, raga is likes. When someone lives by dislikes, they tend to live in the past. They tend to live in the past. When I go to a restaurant and the food is very poor, even though it may be a week later, I still think about that. When someone shows up at a party, do any of you watch The Office? The American version of The Office. It is surreal that his name is Michael. I think the boss's name is Michael. It is surreal how annoying he can be. He's a brilliant actor. I don't even know how it's possible. So recently I watched the episode where he goes to Phyllis's wedding. I don't know if you've seen that. And all his responsibility is to escort Phyllis's dad down the aisle because he's in a wheelchair. And then Michael, he wants to be part of this wedding party, so he actually goes on to stage and is standing with all of the groomsmen. But they're not making any room for him, so they're kind of pushing him off. Also, and why I'm sharing this is, now, if you've ever invited someone to a party and they were just, some sort of rogue, you keep thinking about it, isn't it? That person came, that person did this. And conversely, if someone is living by likes, what tense do they live in the future? I like this country. I'm going to go there one day. I like this person. I'm going to try to be with them. And on and on and on. And what is lost is the present. And that's literally all we have. Even to go into the past, you have to go through the present. Even to go into the future, you have to go in through the present. That's all we have. But raga and dvesha, I get lost. And when I'm totally disoriented, it's dukkha and sukha. And all of this started because of how am I determining what is real? I'm not determining what is real, so this becomes my story. Let's read this shloka together. Satya buddhir yada drishye swatmano binnata tata sukha buddhistada tasmin dukkha buddhir hi va bhavet. Next shloka, similar thought. Raga dveshau prajayete. Raga dveshau prajayete. Tada chitte vritaiva hi. Tada chitte vritaiva hi. Tabhyam hyahyam pravarteva. Tabhyam hyahyam pravarteva. Nivarte loka vastuni. Nivarte loka vastuni. Raga and dvesha, likes and dislikes, prajayete, they arise, they're born. So we'll think about this in two ways. Number one, raga and dvesha in Atma Bodha are compared to what? There's a chat room. Let's see who remembers. Raga and dvesha are compared to rakshasas. That's right. They are compared to rakshasas. We tend to externalize rakshasas when in actuality we are rakshasas. These rakshasas, this raga and dvesha is born. Now think, anything that is born will die. Anything that goes up will come down. Just thinking about this 1 quarter, it all comes, which means it will all go. Just watch. Why take likes and dislikes so seriously? And the more serious you take them, the more we take sukha and dukkha seriously. The more seriously I take that, the more I take separation seriously. That's the opposite of enlightenment. It's the opposite of Advaita. This all comes and goes, so just watch. We were in London recently, and the home we were staying in, the backyard had a lot of squirrels that would be scurrying around. So a new thing that Vyasa does is when he sees a squirrel, he'll go like this and he'll say, come, come, come. But he's doing it to himself, right? Even when he says, like sometimes when he says hi or bye to people, he'll go like this. But in regards to that squirrel, right, he's saying come because he doesn't realize that those squirrels just keep coming and going. But he thinks that they should just come because everything else comes and is with him, like his parents or his bed or his elephant. Come. But we're worse. He doesn't know, so he says come. We know, and we don't say come, but we still think it. Come, 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 stay. You know how that is. Tada chitte vritaiva hi. Vritaiva hi, another form of this. Vritaiva means in vain. These thoughts are in vain, and if you act on these thoughts, that is also in vain. The word vriteva or vritta, how it's shared in Bhajagovinam is vyartha. Vyartha. Artha means meaning. And when you put that prefix vi, it means without meaning. There is no meaning to these thoughts. There is definitely no meaning to acting on these thoughts. It is vyartha. There will be no joy that will come with this. Tabhyam hyahyam pravarteva. Now Guruji's taking it from the thought level to the action level, that if the thoughts are in vain, what do you think the actions will be like? And here too, these actions just keep coming and going. Coming and going. Today's Monday, right? Monday's finished. Guess what will happen 6 days from now? Monday! And then it will go, and then it will come. It keeps coming and going. When I don't have the integrity to follow this, I just get tired. I'm highlighting the word integrity. Integrity is where I live up to what I know. We all know. But if I don't live up to what I know, that's not integrity, right? In the workplace, if someone knows that someone else is being mean to another, or there's inequality and they don't act on that, you think there's a lack of integrity over there. Same goes in myself, that I just get tired. Instead of being joyous, I just get tired. But if I was that person who learned to watch these likes and dislikes, if I'm the Sakshi, since I don't own these thoughts, I don't have to act on these thoughts. I'm just way more energetic, way more enthusiastic. Nivarte loka vastuni. When I act on these thoughts, I run towards them and I run away from them. What we should try to do is experiment with our lifestyle. And here, more specifically, is have less loka vastuni. Have less food in your fridge. Have less electronics in your home. Have less programmed radio stations. Now I think cars have 12. Bring it down to 6. Have less programmed stations. Have less friends on social media. If you can reduce the loka vastuni, but you don't find there's a reduction in your joy, all of a sudden this experiment with our lifestyle is creating integrity with the vision that yes, these actions, these thoughts, they are not artha, they are not meaningful to bring me joy. Try experimenting with your lifestyle and see the truth of what's being shared here. If we don't experiment with our lifestyle, this is another objective science. Let's chant this shloka again. Raga dveshau prajayete tada chitte vritaiva hi tabhyam hyahyam pravarteva nivarte loka vastuni. Narayana.